Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Time!
3 on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Ayler's gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU. America. They got a football team now.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, here's Jim Coyle.
Hey, everybody, welcome aboard. Happy Monday. Welcome back. You made it through the weekend and back for more. And we're here to get you started. Hope your weekend was good. It was absolutely beautiful. Weather's still nice, to be honest with you. Not like it was on Saturday, but hey, 72 is 72, and we'll take it when we can get it. And as the weather kind of easing back into where it should be, but that's okay. Plenty of action over the weekend to talk about. Man, oh man, football was in action, basketball in action. The Colts were off, but the NFL keeps rolling, and all of college football. Lots of excitement in college football because who's gonna do what, and we're gonna find out. Lots of changes. What happened? The SEC has changed things with who beat whom. Oklahoma upsetting Alabama. That upsets the apple cart at the top right there because Alabama was a team that was in the top four. But here's how it changes, in my opinion. They're still probably going to be able to make it to the SEC championship. It would take another loss, I think, to knock them out. But they're still on track to make the SEC championship, and I think that will be against Georgia. So while Georgia is still up in the rankings, let's say Alabama plays Georgia again and loses. The original thought was the second-place team was just going to take that fourth slot. Now, being ranked down below, I don't think so. I think that Texas Tech will slide up into that fourth slot over the SEC loser. So we'll see. But you never can tell. And that's why we've just got to wait till it rolls. The CFP poll will come back out again tomorrow. The AP poll out, a little bit of change there, but not much. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M holds on like Indiana did the week before. It just shows you South Carolina had, a couple of wins, 5 wins, 4 wins maybe, I don't remember, but not very many, and damn near beat Texas A&M. And this was at Texas A&M. Huge difference between the Indiana-Penn State game where Indiana's at Penn State. And I saw someone saying, I'm pretty sure that Penn State's better than South Carolina. So all the people that doubted South Carolina, there's still somebody that's still voting them number one, which I think is ridiculous. But yeah, you do whatever you want. But Indiana's number one votes have slipped a little bit. They were getting 11. I noticed that they only received 8 in this week. But appreciate everybody, no matter where or how you're listening on the program today. Todd Fischer's going to join us, of course. We'll talk to Greg Rakestraw and Dustin Dopirak. We'll get a big dose of everything that happened over the weekend. And it was plenty of action, whether we're talking basketball, football. The Hoosiers were on the court yesterday again in action against Incarnate Word. And buddy Incarnate Word gave them all they wanted. Indiana had 18-point lead, and Incarnate World made it a game. So, but it was a day where Indiana's shots not exactly falling. the guys that you normally count on for knocking it down just weren't having a day. And Lamar Wilkerson and Tucker DeVries, and we'll pull their stats up. Indiana women, how about them? They go on a road and get a win over Florida State, 76-72. Big win for them. Congratulations. And Indiana beats Maryland 3-0 in volleyball. They keep rolling. Man, good sports season for the Hoosiers right now. And congratulations to all of them. The men's basketball program, like I said, taking on Incarnate Word yesterday. And man, they hit some shots. Incarnate Word, I mean, they were hitting some tough shots. And it was just fun to watch. But it also showed a game where Indiana is getting pushed, and they need that. They need all that they can get because they're going to get pushed around by some of these Big Ten teams, by Louisville, by Kentucky. But at the end of the day, they did what they needed to do. They hit 4 of their last 5 shots, but Incarnate Word hit 6 of their last 8. So it was a good game. Overall, it wasn't a great shooting game for either team. Incarnate Word shot 38%, while Indiana shot 43%. And another tough day, but for Indiana at the free throw line, 69%. I noticed they were just missing free throws. Guys were going Reed Bailey, 1 of 2. Lamar Wilkerson's 5 of 6, and Peyton Conaway, 3 of 4. But Tucker DeVries, tough day at the line, 3 of 6, 50%. Sam Alexis, he's been normally at 91%, 6 of 8, just missed a couple, but those add up. I'm telling you, especially in a close game later on. Normally a team that hits very, very well. Indiana gets 10 points off of the 9 turnovers, so they continue to do well there. A surprising room, they out-rebounded Incarnate Word 42-39. How about them apples? They had 12 offensive rebounds versus 8 and 30 defensive rebounds versus 21. So it was just a tough day, and you're going to have those. Let's see, our favorite freshman, Trent Sisley. He had he knocked down some good shots. He had 10 points, 4 of 7, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line. Good day for Trent Sisley. He may have had the best day overall. Actually, he's one of only 3 players that were in double figures. Tucker DeVries, who was only 4 of 13 and 3 of 11 and 3 of 6 at the free throw line. Yeah, that's just not it's not a typical day, but you're not always going to have those. Sometimes, as Mama said, some days are going to be like that, or however that goes, right? Let's see. Brian says Wilkerson needs some tacos or something. Enright was rebounding his little butt off. You're not lying. How about 6 rebounds for Connor Enright? 6 rebounds for Peyton Conaway. So 12 boards between the 2 guards. Sam Alexis with 8 to lead Indiana. Trent Sisley also pulled down 8. Damn, what a day he had. Wow. Hey, let's take a break. We'll get ready for Don Fischer. Talk more about this. He was on the call, and he was on the call for the Indiana versus Wisconsin football game. Plenty more coming up. Glad to have you along. We're back with it and much more after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Monday. That means a visit from the golden voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fischer. Don, how was your weekend? I know it was busy with the action on Saturday and Sunday, football and basketball.
Well, it was. There's no question. It's been a busy early or halfway through the month of November. It's been pretty busy with both football and basketball going on, but both sports won this weekend, which was terrific. Actually, more than that, the ladies won as well on the basketball hardwood. So that's
a road win for them too, down at Florida State.
And no question. And so yeah, it was a good weekend for Indiana. The basketball game yesterday was a little bit rough in the sense of what they've been doing previous to that, having scored 100 twice and 98 the other ball game. And then yesterday it was a bit of a rocky start. 69-61 was the final. Indiana had a 19-point lead, I think it was, with about 12 minutes to go in the ball game, and then let it leak away. And give Incarnate Word a lot of credit for their comeback effort, because they made a game out of it at the end. And even though I don't think it ever got closer than 5 points, they were within 5, and a couple of scores would have changed the ball game around, and Indiana could have been in the loss column for the first time. But here's the other thing about that, Jim. It shows you what the 3-point shot means, especially to a team like this, because Indiana has been a really good 3-point shooting team up to this point. And yesterday they just didn't go down. I think they were 5 of 24, which is just way off the mark in what they normally do. So all I can tell you is it was a really good weekend. The football team was able to hang in there after the first half and then pound Wisconsin in the second half. So all things well.
Yeah, in basketball, I already said it. It's that you're going to have these games, for one thing, because every team, you have a target on your back. And it doesn't matter who you're playing. If you're playing Incarnate Word, this is one of the biggest games they get to play of the year. And so they're going to play their butt off. And they did. And they hit some tough shots. They had some shots that there's nothing you can do about. I was watching, laughing, and going, what are you going to do about that? The guy's falling away, and you got a guy in his face. He hits a shot, can't stop it. But Indiana just had a day where they weren't hitting like they normally would, but were still managed to I don't want to say easily, but they held the team at bay when they're not at their best, when Tucker DeVries is not having a great day. He was only 3 of 6 at the free throw line. So that kind of shows you, even though it's just free throws, 50%, big off for him. And they just didn't hit like they normally would, and you're going to have those days. And unfortunately, they were only 21% yesterday off behind the 3-point line, but they've been hitting 50%, and we knew that wasn't going to sustain itself. But it's not. This is also something not that I expect to be regular either. So great day for basketball to fight through a win like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you look, you could get beat very easily letting a team hang around like they did with Incarnate Word. And Incarnate Word's well coached. I like what they did. They did a lot of really good things out there. You've got to give them a lot of credit for making it tough on Indiana. And again, I think it's important to have a game like this, especially when you're going through this portion of the schedule where you're not facing a lot of really tough competition. Obviously, the Marquette game was the one game that everybody looked at that was going to be the toughest test here in the early going. But at the same time, Indiana won that game going away. And in this particular case, if you aren't ready to play, and I think Coach DeVries basically kind of hinted that this team, really didn't come out there with the same fire in their belly that they have in recent ball games. They didn't move the ball as well. They still moved it, but it just wasn't the same. It didn't look the same. It didn't look as cohesive as it had previously.
It looked like a lazy Sunday, basically. Just one of those Sundays where, oh man, we had a blast watching the football game on Saturday, and it was just, you just couldn't get that fire on that Sunday for whatever reason. You're playing a team that doesn't strike fear in you, and that happens sometimes.
No question. So, to get the win, that was the critical part of it. And now you get ready for Lindenwood coming up on Thursday, another ball club that you should beat handily because they just got beat by Alabama A&M, who Indiana crushed. So, and maybe Lindenwood just had a bad game last time, whatever the case may be. So all you can look at this point is, look, the next game up is Lindenwood, and you get ready to play it, and you go out there and do your best.
Absolutely. On the football side of things, it continued and reached a stage that has never been seen before. Of course, another first for Indiana as they hit the 11-0 mark and an undefeated home season for the second year in a row, Don. These are big things. I mean, Coach Sig has not lost on Merchants Bank Field at Memorial Stadium, and so that's something that Indiana has got to be up in maybe the top 3 or so in consecutive home wins because let's see who just got beat. That Indiana beat Oregon, snapped that streak, and then someone else's streak got snapped this weekend. I forget, one of the SEC teams, but Indiana's got to be up there, I think, in the top 3 now with home wins.
Well, there's little question that the home crowd these days is dramatically better than it ever has been at IU. Sellouts for every ball game. Last week I said I want the crowd to stay until the end of this game so that this team could be defeated. And for the most part, they did that. It was a really good crowd that was on hand for the ball game. It was a late arriving crowd because when we looked up just before kickoff, there were corners, all 4 corners had empty seats in them. And by the time we were 5 minutes into the ball game, all of them had basically filled up. I think there was just maybe one little splurge in one quarter that had people in it at that point. But no question, this football team has taken the Hoosier Nation to a different level, without question, from a football perspective. And what we saw on Saturday, a little bit of lethargic play from the Indiana Ball Club in the first half, much like we saw from the basketball team yesterday. They just didn't seem to have the energy level. And then Cignetti takes them in at halftime and doesn't lecture them. He basically just says, would you guys just go out there and have fun and enjoy this? He said, enjoy your opportunity here. Play like you're just having a ball out there. And they went out, and the next thing you know, they win the ball game going away because they scored 3 touchdowns in the second half.
Yeah, he said a couple of things that you mentioned already in the post game. One of those was that, normally that's the time you go in and you rip ass. And he goes, I just went in and said, hey, take a breath. And like you said, and then Indiana, they come out in the second half and they just take care of business. And a day that was very pedestrian-like for Fernando Mendoza to the eye turned out to be a pretty damn nice day with 299 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns, 91 or 2% completion rate, Don. And this was just a pedestrian day that you would not even have noticed, and yet this is a highlight day. But there's one thing that I think is going to be odd. I truly believe he's going to win the Heisman. But if he continues, he might become the first Heisman since the 50s to only throw for 300 yards once during a season, because that's what we're looking at right now.
Well, I call it anything but pedestrian what he did on Saturday, because he was 22 of 24 and 299 yards and 4 touchdowns. So, I mean, it
looked pedestrian as well. Yeah, it looked pedestrian, but yeah, it was amazing statistically.
Yeah, well, and on top of that, he was harassed the entire day. I think he was sacked 3 or 4 times in the ball game. There's no question that this guy is special. He continues to perform that way. He was a major factor in this ball game, like he has been in every ball game so far this season. I just like what I see from Fernando. He does have the same mantra as Coach Sig. Not too high, not too low, play the next play. You don't ever see him get upset on the field. I haven't seen him one time this year be upset because he got sacked or any of those kinds of things. So just a character young
upset
man.
With himself. The only person he gets upset with is himself.
Exactly. Yep. He's just really a really good quarterback. And maybe you could put him in the class of great quarterbacks, because there's no doubt his arm talent's there and all that kind of stuff. So
I think he is the perfect Curt Cignetti quarterback because of all the things you just mentioned, that he naturally has the traits that Curt Cignetti it tries to infuse in his team. And not only that, he has one that doesn't. He has his own where he is Mr. Positive. He is the guy. He's a great leader. You can tell that by his post-game TV interviews, which I love and laugh and talk about all the time, because he gets, once the questions asked, he looks into the camera and he starts thanking everybody, his receivers, his running backs, the crowd, his coaches. He never talks about himself. And it's just always about everybody else. But again, he's looking right into the camera. He's going to be a marketer's dream when he gets to the NFL. They're going to love this guy. He's going to be doing more commercials than you've ever seen. But his talent right now is leading this team, Don, as they look now for yet one more first. A 12-0 finish to a regular season, which comes at the opportunity comes in 2 weeks. They get a break right now with a bye, which they desperately need to get healthy. They got a lot of guys dinged up right now, Don, and on the line and here and there. Elijah Surratt, I did not expect him to play because of this bye. You bring him back for the Purdue game, knock the rust off, and then you head into the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, there's no question. The injury aspect of things is right now the most concerning, I think, for this Indiana football team. And it's not that they've got a ton of serious injuries, but they've got some people they need to get back. Drew Evans, I think he's a critical piece to this ball club going forward, because I think he is such a key player on this offensive line. He got hurt last year at the end of the season. I would hate to see this season go by the wayside again for him, because I think he's really an integral part of that offensive line. And he's one of those guys that I think he's beloved by his teammates and by the offensive line guys. I think they all think he's terrific. So that's a key. Surratt, of course, has not played for 3 weeks. I watched him in the warm-up on Saturday. He looked like he was running great out there. And then he doesn't play. So I don't know what that's all about. Obviously,
I'll be honest with you, Don. I didn't expect him to play just because when you have a bye week, and as well as Charlie Becker has been playing, just there's no reason to risk it when you can give him that extra week with what's coming up. Not only the Big Ten championship, but then, of course, everything after that. But I didn't really expect him to play because of that, having this extra week off.
Brendan Frankie's another guy that they could use, and Quinn Warren has done a great job in his stead. But Frankie is a guy that just booms that ball. There's almost never a return on any of his kickoffs, that kind of thing. And I'd like to see him get back with this ball club. Evans is the other guy, of course, the most notable.
Absolutely.
Benson needs a week or so to get back to his ankle, whatever he's been dealing with. He's limped off again on Saturday, but went right back in the ball game. So,
and you got to give it to him. That dude's been limping for the last 3 games. I think Maryland is when he got hurt, maybe, but he's been in and out, still playing.
yeah. So the injury aspect of it is critical in this bye week, just to get some guys healthy again. Everybody's hurting a little bit. 6 straight ball games without a bye, so that's worn this team down. And I think that was a factor in the first half of the game against Wisconsin. All right, man.
You're back for Inside Indiana basketball tonight. Inside Indiana football on Thursday.
Basketball is tonight with Terry Moore. Terry Moore.
Okay.
It's her show tonight. We'll be back next week with Inside IU basketball with Coach Darian DeVries, and we've got Inside IU football this week on Wednesday night because we're doing it during the bye week, and the reason is because Thanksgiving is a short week. They're playing out a Friday night. It's really impossible for the coaching staff to do what they want to do if we have a show without the with the head coach. So we moved the show to Wednesday night this week in our final regular season show.
There you go. There's the information, peeps. Don Fischer, appreciate you, brother. We will see you soon, I'm sure.
All right, man.
With everything going on, buddy.
Good seeing you.
Appreciate you. There's a Fish joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. And, there's plenty more. Let's hear from Coach Darian DeVries, as a matter of fact, after Indiana's win yesterday, after they beat our Incarnate Word on a very, very difficult day for them when they just weren't hitting. Let's just be honest. They were not hitting from deep. They weren't hitting at all. Free throws, like I said, 18 of 26, 69%. That is what Indiana used to do for the norm. Seriously. And I could tell, I'm like, oh man, they're just not smooth today. Like I mentioned, Tucker DeVries, he missed 2 on one trip. 2 of his misses came on one trip to the free throw line. You're not going to see that very often at all. It was just one of those days where the ball wasn't going down. And then on 3-point shots, they were 5 of 24. 5 of 24, people. That's not Indiana-esque. And but again, you're going to have those days. But what also was not Indiana-esque was the rebounding. I was shocked. 42-29, Indiana wins the rebounding battle. They won the offensive rebounding battle, 12-8. Second chance points, 11-9. So they don't win much there. Which means on the 8 offensive rebounds that Incarnate Word grabbed, they 9 points off of those. So that's pretty damn good, to be honest with you. Bench points, Indiana, 26-10. 26 of their that's a good ratio, to be honest with you. But off the bench, it was Sam Alexis and Trent Sisley, both coming off the bench and both with double figures. 2 of the 3 players in double figures for Indiana came off the bench. You got to love that. Sam Alexis ended up playing 27 minutes. Trent played 20 minutes. Between them, they had 26 points. They were 9 of 14 from the field. Trent was 2 of 4 from the free throw line. Sam was 6 of 8 at the free throw line. Trent didn't get there. But a great line by those 2 in the game. Let's hear from Coach Darian DeVries.
From your perspective, and I recognize you'll know better once you watch the film, but what were they doing that kind of got you out of your rhythm offensively early? And like, where does your team need to go to find that again, kind of in a game when you can't get the reset of going back into practice, going back into preparation, but you got to find it as a group, kind of in real time?
I can't say for sure what it was. I think them starting out in the zone, get you a little bit out of your normal rhythm as an offense, and we got a little stagnant there. And then when they went to their man, I thought we did a decent job at times, but the ball definitely just didn't move the way that we like it to tonight. So we ended up with a lot more just the ball stuck in one guy's hands and a lot more one-on-one tonight, and that's not really what we're designed to do as an offense. We're at our best when the ball's moving and we're getting cuts and getting it side to side. And I can't say for sure without watching the film. I felt like we had some good threes that we missed, but my guess is a lot of those threes weren't as clean as we're used to getting just because the ball wasn't moving the way we wanted to get the high-quality shots.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Evaporate because they shoot 54%. So that's the learning opportunity of it's a 40-minute game. That's something that we'll certainly take advantage of. Like I said, I like learning after wins. That's much better. But there's a lot of positives there too. So we'll take it for what it is and learn from it and move on.
There's more from Coach Darian DeVries talking about yesterday's win over Incarnate Word. Things weren't going great, but like he said, you just heard him say they'll learn from it and move on. And he'd much rather, I saw him in his post-game TV interview. He'd much rather learn from a win than a loss. And yes, that definitely makes sense to me, baby. I would do the same. Indiana over the weekend football, they get the win over Wisconsin. They are now 11-0. Greg Rakestraw joins us. He has a busy weekend always, but a little less this weekend with the Colts on hiatus, as you didn't have duties with them. So that should have made it a little easier for you, Rake.
I had like a 30-hour furlough. Got done with the Monon Bell game on Saturday afternoon and getting back to work right about now. Good morning.
Well, good, man. Glad you had some moments off to take a breath, but good weekend for it, man. Great weather. How about this? How about 72 degrees on a November Saturday when we've already seen the frost, and now it's going to ease back down. At least it's going to ease back down instead of normally what we get here is a boom up to 72, and the next day it's normally 32, but we're getting a little ease to it right now, which is great.
Correct. The only thing that's on my radar now is it looks like I'm going to have some semi-state football on Friday in the midst of rain. Since we have literally been 13 for 13 on beautiful weather on Friday nights, I don't think I have the right to complain if we finally get rain on our last outdoor weekend of football for the year.
No, and it's been a good one, man. We've had some upsets. We got some good teams. My Highlanders were having a great run until
this weekend, my God, they ran into Bloomington South, who I thought this was going to be a great game. South beat them like they stole something, and they beat Floyd like Floyd had been beating everybody else 55-7. I was a little shocked by that one, man.
You know, me too. And not that Bloomington South won, but again by the margin. And again, there is almost a little bit of unknown at certain levels when you get 5A and 6A teams from outside of Indianapolis. Again, 5A is much more non-Indy centric than 6A, which is almost an entirely Indianapolis area division. But because the teams that Bloomington South and Floyd Central play are so different, it's hard to kind of do the comparison shopping. So, you know, the really quality team that Floyd had lost to was Whiteland. And maybe given that East Central beat Whiteland 35-0 the week before, maybe that was kind of a red flag to say, hey, maybe they weren't as good as we thought they were, which then tells us Floyd Central might not be as good as we thought they were because, you know, that was the one Indiana-based team they had lost to, and it lost to 42-28, you know, back in week 2 of the season. And so, you know, for Floyd, clearly they have become the best football program in that league, which, to be blunt, is not a great league. You know, Bedford North Lawrence had a great year at the 4A level, but Martinsville, who was kind of down, beat them in the sectional final. And then to Martinsville's credit, they went to Heritage Hills and were pretty competitive. I think it was 35-19, I think was the final score. And the Artesians were 3-6 this year, which again is not the norm or the MO for them. So good for Floyd Central. But now, Jim, they run into the same question we would say about a Crown Point or a Penn. And it is, how do you figure out to get to the Indianapolis area to play as many Indy area teams, which again, probably isn't as necessary as it is in 5A and 6, but how do you ensure we got to go play the best teams that you possibly can?
Yep, absolutely. Jeffersonville kind of not what they should be as a 5A school and the size that they are, which should be one of those games that you get year in, year out as an HHC team, and New Albany as well. Just haven't been quite what you need them to be in that regard. But the playoffs are rolling along anyway, and we've got some teams that are heading towards the championship, and that's all that matters. Any surprises, upsets?
Yeah, I mean, for a third consecutive week in the game that we had on ISC, we had a team that avenged a regular season loss with a postseason victory. And this time it was Warren Central, winning at Center Grove by a score of 24-21. Keon Thomas was the star of that game, north of 240 yards rushing, over 60 yards receiving. One of the 2 or 3 best, what I say, non-quarterback division, best individual efforts that we've had in a game over the course of the first 13 weeks of the season. For Center Grove, to show you how good they have been and how geography kind of helps, you know, in terms of the draw. It's the first time they have been knocked out in the regional round since 2017. They had made at least the state's Final Four in each of the previous 7 years. So Warren goes to Brownsburg, and again, I think that'll be a competitive game. You know, the teams that we thought would be most competitive with Brownsburg, Jim, are no longer playing. You know, Carmel gets knocked out the week before by Westfield. Center Grove gets knocked out this week by Warren. So Brownsburg is the favorite for sure, the defending state champs, and they're really solid. But I also don't think they're an unbeatable team either. And so I forget who I was having a conversation with on Saturday that when he said, oh, Warren and Brownsburg, it should be a cakewalk. No, I don't think so. Brownsburg is the favorite, and they should be. But if Warren can go to Center Grove and win, they can go to Brownsburg and win too.
Yeah, Brownsburg. How big is Brownsburg? My God. They're like literally like a junior college. Their school is bigger than most junior colleges.
Welcome to 6A football, Jim. I mean, the majority of Indianapolis area schools that play in the 6A level
which school has like 80 gyms
are like 2,500 or 3,000 students. So the pecking order in terms of Indy area schools, Carmel is 1 at 5,200. Ben Davis is 2 at 4,500. Always get North Central and Warren Central confused. They kind of oscillate between like 3,500, 3,800. Fischer's and HSE are both of that level of about 3,300, 3,400. The largest school outside of the Indy area is Penn, which is kind of in that neighborhood, who got knocked out by Carroll. So I want to say Brownsburg is somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 students. And again, 6A, folks, is the top 32 enrollments in the state. And I think Jeffersonville is like 30 or 31. Harrison, that is Lafayette Harrison, is like 32. And I think they're at about 2,100 students. So that gives you an idea as to how big you have to be in the top 32 schools in the state from an enrollment standpoint.
So we've got some 6A game, big time 6A games coming up this weekend.
So we've got 24 games left in the entire, 12 games left in the entire state. And let me see if I can do this off the top of my head. It shouldn't take long to roll through all of them. Westfield Carroll is 6A North. Brownsburg Warren is 6A South. 5A North is Maryville and Concord. Concord who beat Lafayette Jeff on a 48-yard field goal to win 7-45 in their game on Saturday night. 5A South, Bloomington South at New Pal. 4A North would be Dwenger and South Bend St. Joe. 4A South would be Roncalli and Heritage Hills. 3A North is Knox and Lures. The Miles McLaughlin story continues to develop as he is now within 370-ish yards of Derrick Henry's all-time high school career rushing record at north of 12,000 yards. And I can see the synapses firing in your face. Yes, Derrick Henry of the Baltimore Ravens has the all-time national record. The South game
commented. He said, "Hey, man, go break it, baby. Go break." He's aware of it. Can you imagine being a kid at his level in high school, at that small, you're in a small high school, let's be honest, but one of the baddest ass runners of all time, Derrick Henry, not only knows who you are, knows that you're going to break his record, and he's like saying, "Go for it."
And again,
if he does, he'll get some. Maybe he'll get some swag from Derrick Henry.
This is the game where, again, it's not the typical Lures team. They were 4-5 during the regular season, but obviously play such a great schedule, being the smallest school in the Southern Athletic Conference. This is a different level that Miles has played against so far this year. If he were to get through this game, state championship would be either Cascade or Gibson Southern. That is the lone Saturday game that will take place. Gibson Southern making the trip up to Southwest Hendricks County. By the way, 2A North, Adams Central plays Andrean. 2A South, Brownstown Central has been really good for a long time. They have never made it to a state championship game. They go to play at LaPel. And then 1A, the big story was that Milan went to Providence and won. So South Putnam now goes to Milan. And then 1A North is Pioneer and South Adams. That would be the 12 matchups that you will see across the state of Indiana on mostly Friday night, but Saturday as well.
Yeah, the Pioneers, man, they've been having a good run down there, Providence. I remember when I was in school, it was just 1, 2, and 3A. They were competitive as a 2A school against us, the 3A schools. And but it's weird how as time has gone on, and now we have 6 classes, there is a definitive difference between these classes. It's strange for me to have participated in that era and to know how close that it really was back then. Providence, sure. They were tough for us to beat, and sometimes they beat you. They were good back then, but now with all this separation, I cannot believe how far it is, but it's an actual reality.
There is a significant, I think the biggest gap is 6A to 5A. And that may not resonate with some people. But again, I'm lucky enough to watch 6A football.
It's FBS to FCS almost.
Correct. I mean, and I'm talking about multiple Division I recruits in every game, for the most part. And like, for example, the offensive line from Center Grove, IU, Ball State, Central Michigan, 3 of the 5 kids. On the flip side of that, nose guard from Warren Central is going to Alabama. Right defensive end is a junior, has an offer from Minnesota. That's the highest level of 6A football. That's
Warren Central pumps these guys out, by the way, too.
That's right. This is what we're, where we talk, hey, this guy's playing in the national.
Is this the second season in a row Warren Central sending a guy to Alabama?
No, Finch has been recruited to Alabama last year. Oh, good. I'm trying to think of the last Indiana kid to go.
Who was that team? There was a team that had 4 guys on the defensive line that went D1. One of them.
Yeah, it was Warren Central, but Finch was a junior, so he comes back. So
okay, that's why.
They had a defensive end going to LSU off that team. So yes, second consecutive year the kid going to the SEC. So that's the nature of Indianapolis 6A football, and that's what I am fortunate to see on an every Friday night basis.
Absolutely. Now, in 5A, are there 5 teams remaining or 4?
4.
Okay, because I'm seeing Concord.
Concord and Merrillville play each other on the north, Bloomington South and New Pal play each other in the south.
Okay, why is New Pal listed in this?
New Pal's really good. They might be listed twice, Jim. I don't know.
Are they 5A?
Yes. New Pal was a 4A school in enrollment, playing up a class, and the favorite to win the 5A championship. So, yes, New Pal is in 5A.
Oh, Brownsburg 6A, right?
There you go.
That they've got them listed in the 5A scoreboard
okay.
that I'm looking at. So I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't look right. Now I got it. What about down in 4A, man? Let's see. I got to get back to 4A to get this. But how are the Fighting Trent Sicilies doing? Did they make it?
They're into the semi-state round, and again, a lot of folks assumed they would play Chittard, and I was of that group. They're going to get Roncalli. Roncalli upset Chittard in the section championship. Roncalli had to go to Yorktown and win a pretty competitive game.
They're at 31-27.
Yeah, so it's for Heritage Hills. Jet Goldsberry is the star. He is off to Ole Miss. They've got a young man that is going to play at Oklahoma on that team as well at Heritage Hills. But again, they knew this was probably going to be the toughest test. Was playing.
So Heritage Hills with Trent Sicily on the basketball team has 2 guys that got away from the football program.
So they're pretty good. And again, Heritage Hills, like New Pal, is playing a class up. Heritage Hills is the 3A champion from last year, now playing up in 4A. And again, to be blunt, I don't think there's that big of a difference in the top end of 3A, 4A, and maybe 5A. Again, there is such a cliff when you go from 6 to 5 that we have seen teams go up and be successful, whether it's New Pal having won in 5A, whether it's Evansville Memorial going up and winning in 4A, and this was Memorial's first year back in 3A in some time, and Gibson Southern beat them on the second weekend of the tournament. So it is, and in 2A, Adams Central is a 1A school that won the 2A championship last year. So it just kind of gives you an idea that it's an accomplishment that should be celebrated. It is not as significant of a jump as, say, Cathedral has done to go 4A, 5A, 6A, and now Cathedral is in 5A, or Decatur Central to be able to go from 5A to 6A and win a sectional and then be competitive, even though Brownsburg won by about 20, 25 points on Friday night. That was at least a competitive football game into the third quarter. And again, there's a sizable enrollment difference there. So good on those schools that can go up. And we have the possibility of having 3 teams who are playing up a class win a state championship. And Jim, none of them might be parochial schools. It's going to all be public schools we're talking about here. So again,
this is such a difference between Indiana and Kentucky, and I'll get to that, but I want to get to this comment first from Roger that says, Greg, I am always amazed by your gifts of memory and enthusiasm when it comes to sports-related data. Thanks always to me for making you part. No, it's my honor and pleasure to have Greg on. First of all, people know that because of all the things you've listed, Greg, and his great expertise in all of these areas. He is one of the most well-rounded people in this industry that we know, but that's why he should be celebrated. So you are absolutely correct. And let me thank you as well for that, Greg.
I appreciate my family tuning into the show. Thank you very much, Roger.
So yeah, it's going to be a fun. Football's fun this year. It really is. It's weird. I talk about college and how college football has become amazing because of how it's been spread out, and you've got teams that are competitive like Indiana and Vanderbilt, and at the end of the day, though, if we look right now, Indiana is kind of one of the only standouts that's not supposed to be there because it's Ohio State above Indiana, Texas A&M below Indiana, Georgia, Oklahoma, Alabama, Oregon, all these big names. And then there's Indiana kind of breaking the mold. There are other teams that are doing it, but I've seen a lot with high school football.
6A aside, these teams, like you talked about, Heritage Hills, who is not really a 4A school, but they're playing 4A football successfully. God, I love that.
Right. And again, part of it, too, is Heritage Hills is one of the early adopters of high school football in Southern Indiana. I mean, you and I growing up knew of numerous pretty sizable high schools. Silver Creek was the largest, Scottsburg then behind that, Forest Park, Crawford County. These are schools that didn't play until the last 20, 25 years. Switzerland County is relatively new to football. Heritage Hills is one of the schools back in the 70s that said, hey, we're going to make this a big deal. You know, when Bob Clayton kind of Bob Ashworth got the program started, then Bob Clayton took it over and made it what it was. This is the 25-year anniversary of Heritage Hills being led by Jay Cutler, winning the 3A, state championship over Zionsville in overtime at the RCA Dome back then. So it is an accomplishment, yes. But again, part of it too is Heritage Hills has the pedigree where they expect to do this on a year-in, year-out basis.
And how about the quarterbacks that have come out of Southern Indiana? You just mentioned Jake Cutler, Rex Grossman back in the day from Bloomington South. I think there's one more that I'm missing that jumping out of my memory, but I can't remember.
Well, if you want to go really old school, you can always drop Bob Greasy from Rex Mundy High School in Evansville if you want to.
Well, hell yeah, he's one of the damn greats. So there you go. But yeah, think about that. Those guys came from Southern Indiana. Southern Indiana may have produced Blair Keel, didn't play pro, but started at first freshman to ever start at Notre Dame as a freshman. So a lot of quarterbacks came out of Southern Indiana, which is fun and odd. But the playoffs rolling on this weekend. It's going to be a blast. And heading towards the Thanksgiving weekend state championships at Lucas Oil Stadium. Lucas Oil is going to be very busy this year, man. With the Colts playing well, you're going to have playoff games there. You've got the IHSAA football playoffs that are heading in that direction. The basketball is going to be in town. Big Ten championship coming up the same day that Indiana plays Louisville in basketball. What a day that's going to be, Greg, for Indianapolis, the city and the state. It's all this attention. Indianapolis continues to bring so much attention through the sports world. A lot of it through its own teams. Purdue is they may end up playing there for the damn national championship.
Correct. There is a possibility that not a possibility. We know the Big Ten championship comes to be there, and Indiana's going to be in it at this point. That's a given. AFC championship game could be here January 25th. National championship game featuring Purdue could be there the Monday after Easter. All of those things can happen, Jim, in a 4-month span.
It's crazy. Greg Rakestraw is on it. Make sure you are subscribed to the ISC Sports Network for everything they offer, because it is a lot and it covers Indiana like we do, buddy. Greg, I cannot thank you enough.
Talk to you next week, bud.
You have a great one. Greg Straw joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We're back with more.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Monday. Glad to have you along. Joined now by our friend Dustin Dopirak. How was your weekend, my friend?
Not bad, not bad. Didn't have to go anywhere. It was nice. Got back from the West Coast and hung out. And yeah, what do we do? I don't know. There was another game on Saturday. There was football to watch. Did some yard work, did some housework. All good.
Yard work in November. Can you imagine that?
There was more to do. There was, I cut my grass like 2 weeks ago, like a week and a half ago.
Cutting your grass in November. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like something you're like, I don't want to cut the grass in November. But then you're like, hey, I get to cut the grass in November. It's kind of a nice thing to get out and enjoy. But a big time sports weekend stuff going everywhere right now with this crossover season as college basketball is underway. The NBA is underway. Obviously, the NFL deep into their season and college football. There's a lot going on, man. Lots, as you know, you used to cover the beat. Very busy. I got a few weeks ago. I got properly. A butt spanking basically from somebody because the Monday after you were on when Indiana beat Penn State, I didn't ask you about it, and I said you're right. They said because they know that you're Penn State grad, and I'm like, you're right. For the first time, I said that actually slipped my mind. I didn't purposely do it to spare.
I wasn't upset that you didn't bring it up, Jim.
I'm sure, but I just told him, I go, you know what? It didn't dawn on me. It slipped my mind, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to throw you to the wolves.
No, I mean, I think
to the wolves, but no, it's good. Yeah. Hey. If I was a Penn State grad, I'd be happy as hell. They damn near won that game, and they shouldn't have been in it. But it shows you the athletes that they have. Defensively, let me tell you, they've got some boys, man.
Yeah, they do.
Guys, this is Penn State, man. They didn't recruit a bunch of FCS players.
Right.
So,
no, well, I mean, the thing about it is you look at it and you say, okay, well, this team, there was a reason it was number 2 in the country when the season started. And, you know, there were players, there was a bunch of guys that are going to be in the NFL or close to it, or not close to it, but are going to get drafted and they'll have a shot. But yeah, I mean, you also look at it and say, well, you know, if this team could hang with number 2 Indiana and should, you know, had a chance to beat number 2 Indiana, like this is, you know, that it had no business losing to Northwestern and UCLA, which is definitely the case. And that's why James Franklin got fired. So, you know, I mean, like you've already done the hard thing, is that make, you know, just making the decisions you've got to move on. And, you know, I good for Terry Smith. You know, Terry Smith's from my area. He was went to Gateway High School, you know, so I mean, like I was born in Monroeville, and which is like right like across the street from that high school, more or less. And I grew up in North Huntington, was like, you know, 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes, depending what roads you're taking, you know, from there. So like, you know, Terry Smith's kind of a hometown guy. So it's good to see him be successful, you know, in this interim thing, but he's obviously not going to be the guy. You know, they're not going to keep him in that job. They're going to go swing really, really big and try to get somebody they think can win a national championship. So, you know, like he's obviously just made them continuously competitive, which is all you can ask for anybody that's in that interim gig. And, you know, they made it a heck of a football game for sure, but, you know, just obviously weren't able to close it out. But, you know, I mean, I think it'd have been basically Penn State had to lose that game. I mean, like you don't want necessarily, like I'm not necessarily rooting for Indiana to have its perfect season ruined at the altar of a team that's going to you know, lose 6 games more or less. You know, that's already lost 6 games basically. It's got to win out just to get in the bowl game. So, you know, but that was a heck of a football game. And Omar Cooper, that's one of the best catches I've ever seen. And Charlie Becker had like, I don't know, 3 of the best catches I've ever seen. I mean, he was unbelievable in that game. So, just good for Indiana, man. I mean, yeah, for sure. So I don't know, like my fanship is weird. I think we've talked about this. Like when you've covered it, you feel like you're not allowed to root for anything. And
exactly.
my wife was at home freaking out, like as an IU grad and Indiana fan, and I kept telling her, I'm like, they're gonna win, like Indiana's gonna win, and it wasn't until like a minute and a half left, I'm like, I actually feel bad. Penn State might win this game, like that. This might really happen. Like I kind of feel bad about it, and I actually texted a guy, based my predecessor. I texted Chris Gorman to be like, I kind of feel bad about this. What do we think? And he's like, oh man, no, this is not gonna happen. So, and Indiana pulled it off, and it was just, yeah. So a lot more emotion than needed to be in that. But yeah, ultimately was happy.
I will say this. I didn't make the trip there. I went to Chicago because Indiana basketball game. So I was up in Chicago on that Sunday covering the Marquette game. But on my way back, I was rewatching the game. I was driving and just more listening than watching.
I hope so. I hope you were driving.
Absolutely. Just more listening,
right.
Just listening to it. And
sure.
But even then, I could feel my heart rate. I know the outcome, and but with the call and Gus Johnson and those guys and yeah, exactly.
Maxine's got real thoughts on
Maxine agrees. Maxine loves the call.
She does. She's big on the call.
But Gus's call, it still cracks me up. I mean, he lost his voice, and he was just, I don't know if he was so emotional, and even Coach and Curt Cignetti got emotional. I asked him after the game about it, and he talked, in depth about it. He's really this season, and then in this game in which a Wisconsin player was, seriously hurt. And it was odd because, I mean, he got planted, but it was just a plant tackle. It's not like he landed on his head, got hit in the head, but he apparently lost sensation, and they took him away. I need to get an update on that. But anyway, Curt gathered the entire team around, and I thought it was strange that when it wasn't your player, he gathers his whole team around, and it looked like that they were praying, and he acknowledged that they prayed for the player. Then he was talking about the dangers of you got to be careful in these games. It's late in the season and all of that. So it's a serious deal, but all thoughts and prayers to Atuka, I think is the player's name. I'll have to look that up and get an update on him. But it was just odd though that the tackle was just a great tackle, but hopefully he's better. But Indiana getting tested. People forget Big Ten teams have Big Ten caliber talent. They may not be successful this season against the rest of the talent, but Penn State, they got big talent, people. They got 5 stars playing on that team. So that's what you're going to run into. And even Wisconsin, they beat a good Washington team the week before. So let's see, Texas A&M, they're at home to South Carolina.
That was so weird.
I mean, they're down 30-3 at home, and probably should have lost that game. But hey, for anybody that talked about Indiana's game at Penn State, that's all you got to do is look at Texas A&M. Then Alabama gets beat at home by Oklahoma. So the CFP is not the top, but the bottom. Here's what I think, and I said this earlier. All along, I have just assumed, it's been my assumption that it's the 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to be the winner of the Big Ten. Number 2 is going to be the winner of the SEC championship. Number 3, the loser of the Big Ten. Number 4, the loser of the SEC. I've changed that. Now, I don't think the loser of the SEC might get that slot. I think that Texas Tech may climb into that position, especially if that loser is, let's say, if they're not in the top 4 right now, I don't think that if you lose in the SEC championship, you may not get hurt by it, but you're not going to rise from it. So
That's my thoughts.
So, I mean, I need to know the permutations a little bit better, but if it's A&M Georgia, I mean, like probably, I guess if Texas Tech runs the table and it's between Texas Tech and like if A&M Georgia play in the SEC title game and, like that's going to be tough. Now, the fun part about that is like, you know what, like the Big 12 and the SEC can go have an argument. Like they can go do whatever they want. It's just like that's fine. Like go have a fight in Texas. That's up for you guys. You guys can go make that decision whether Texas Tech's good enough or not. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's one of those things where like they are itching for a fight with the Big Ten all the time. And it won't be a fight with the Big Ten, and so that'll be, I guess, refreshing to, just have them just tear down the Big 12 again. But we'll see what happens with that. I mean, it could go either way. I mean, Texas Tech's going to have a really good resume. If they indeed run the table, I'm not sure who they got left. I'm going to call that up while I'm sitting here talking to you. I think, but they're going to, like, you're right. They could have a case, but I mean, Georgia's got some nice wins. So if it is between, you figure Georgia rises up and takes the spot that Alabama had, that's what you've seen in the top 25 so far. So if it's, if it goes into, Texas Tech has a loss. If it goes into championship week and Georgia is where they are with one loss, A&M's undefeated and Ohio State and Indiana are undefeated going to the championship game. Yeah, I don't think I think they'll pick the loser. I think they'll take the loser of Georgia A&M because that'll be two loaded teams. If Georgia only has one loss and A&M's undefeated and Ohio State and Indiana are undefeated and Texas Tech has one loss, they'll find a way to convince themselves that Georgia and A&M both deserve to be in. So that's my take on it. I don't think they'll, or even if it's Ole Miss. I mean, I don't know how the tiebreaker is going to work over there, but I think they'll pick 2 and 2. I forgot Texas Tech had a loss. I forgot Texas Tech lost to Arizona State. That'll clinch it right there.
Yeah,
especially if Georgia beats A&M, and if A&M's only loss is Georgia, and Georgia's only loss is Alabama.
Yeah,
I think
it's and they still have to climb. And meaning whoever I was talking about, Texas Tech, because they're tied with Oregon right now for 6th. They're not even in that deal. It's the SEC. Once you get past
2, yeah.
I'm looking at someone. I'm looking at the only guy. I'm looking at the ballot for the only guy who keeps putting Texas A&M at number 1, and to put them number 1 after this past weekend, I think is very disingenuous. Yeah, they got the win. But they got the win at home after being down. I don't care that they got the biggest comeback. They were at home. They shouldn't have been down, damn it. Credited for the win, yes, but that doesn't make them the number 1 team in the country.
As far as I'm concerned, like it doesn't matter that much. I mean, those are going to be
it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm just curious on why this guy. I was looking to see if he had a Texas background, but he doesn't. Patrick Welter, he's a TV sports anchor in Raleigh, North Carolina, Floridian. So,
I mean, it's not always like, I mean, like I get the SEC is good, man. The SEC is good, and A&M's got good wins. I mean, A&M's got really good wins. Like Notre Dame, that was a fantastic football game. Notre Dame's a really good team. I think Notre Dame deserves to be in the playoff at the end of the day.
Notre Dame is a lot better than they were. I am also. I am also believe that they deserve to be in because of how they have played. I think they're going to be a tough game, whomever plays them. The Big Ten will not get 4 teams in.
You couldn't
this
even
weekend.
Yeah,
someone. No, USC.
You could
managed to come back and get that win, but I just don't see them climbing high enough. Right now, they're 17th in the AP poll, which doesn't matter compared to the CFP poll, but that's a lot.
They got Oregon on Saturday, and if they beat, if they beat Oregon on Saturday,
if you beat Oregon, that won't knock Oregon out. that'll lower them, but not knock them out. And that might give USC the bounce that they need to get up really close to that top 12 mark. But you're going to have to climb over Georgia Tech, Miami of Florida. The fact that they're below Texas is BS. Texas is 7-3, and they are the highest 3-loss team except for Tennessee. There are only three-loss teams in the top 25. Washington sitting there at number 5. Well, no, I don't know if they're in. I'm looking at I got to go back to the main.
You're looking at somebody else's poll, man.
I'm looking at this guy's poll. Yeah, I got to go backwards.
Yeah, that poll is making you actively worse with what's going.
So, Michigan sitting at 18. They can't. Now, if Michigan were to beat Ohio State, could they climb high? They'd be, man, they're 8-2 right now. So they have, 2 games left. Let's say if they beat Ohio State and go 10-2, they're going to get in, I think.
I don't think so. You got to look at these You got to look at these wins. I mean, I'll be really surprised.
If you beat the number 1 team in the country, though,
I get it, but like the only other 2 teams they beat that were good were Oklahoma and USC, and they lost to both of them.
But Oklahoma is a CFP team, so now you've got 2 wins over 2 top 10 teams.
Sure. No, they didn't beat Oklahoma. They lost to Oklahoma 24-13.
Right.
They lost to USC 31-13. Their best win as of right now, is Nebraska or Washington. Nebraska or Washington.
And neither of those are great wins. They're just average.
I mean, I don't like. I know that they have an insane streak here. I don't think they're winning this one. I just don't. I mean, I think this will be a moot point. I don't like. I understand that it feels like that Ohio State just finds a way to keep losing that game. I don't think it's happening again. I don't. I mean, I think there was more juice in that team last year than there is this year. I'd be really surprised if they pull this off. Now, so if they do it, then obviously it shakes up the entire situation. And there's a chance, but man, they haven't beaten anybody else at all. So
USC might be the closest. They're only
USC's your best chance as a 4th team.
Yeah.
And USC has to beat Oregon to make that happen. And then that does put Oregon on the line.
I think it would drop Oregon. They're 6th. I think that they want to keep them in. And I think you're right that the only way of getting the Big Ten getting 4 teams in would be SC beating Oregon, and which would lower them. But I think it would get SC in. Right now, I think the SEC is going to get 5 teams in, and I'm not going to complain about it because it's not like they're not deserving. Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Oklahoma. You got 4 teams in the top 8. Then Alabama. Is 10th in the AP. This is the AP poll, 10th, and I think those are the 5 teams that will get in right there. It's hard to keep them out, and I get it. BYU, man, they're on the line there. They're going to have to win. Well, I think there's only going to be 1 team out of the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean they're going to need a rematch, and they're going to need to win it, I think.
And then the ACC, they may come up bingo zeros this season.
You got to get 1. You got to get 1. It's automatic. So
is the conference champion automatically in?
Yeah.
So the conference champions all make it, even if let's see, their highest ranked team right now is Miami.
You can't kick them out. The four conference champions get in regardless. I mean, SMU was in last year, so
shouldn't have been in. At least this year they'll be ranked where they are ranked, and not getting an auto bye like Miami right now would be 12th.
Right.
If that were the case,
Miami is a placeholder. They're not getting in.
Actually, what about the Big 12? The group of 5?
Yeah, they get 1. So right now
so that takes up 2 spots. So the group of 5 would be 12th. Miami would be 11th, and And then, so if you had 5 SEC teams, there's 7 of the 12, 3 more from the Big Ten.
1 from
there's
the Big
10.
12. 1 from the Big
Who are
12
these
and
other-
then Notre Dame. And there you go.
There you go. There you go. You fill it up. And so that's what we're going to see this year. Does the Big Ten win a national championship for the 3rd season in a row?
Sure could. I mean, I think so. I will be, like, for whatever, as far as like what it does for ranking purposes, I think, like obviously A&M has to get dinged from what happened on Saturday, but in terms of something that makes me think that they cannot win football games, I mean, I was just impressed by how it turned around. I mean, you could very easily, when you have that bad of a half, and it's just like, this is one of those things that reminds you they're college kids, like just they are capable of just laying the occasional egg. And that's just, it happens in college football just from time to time. And, like literally it was like for a half, Texas A&M forgot how to play football and then remembered how to play football. And then once they did, South Carolina couldn't do anything about it. like I didn't watch the first half. I just saw the score. I had I was watching Notre Dame Pitt on a computer and Indiana, Wisconsin on TV. And, I was keeping tabs on both of those games. Then you kept seeing that score coming up, like South Carolina's up. What? Like, are you serious? And then, like Indiana, Wisconsin got done like really early for a noon game. And, so flip that one over, saw at least like the entire 4th quarter, I think. And by that time, it was already like they were only down a touchdown. And it was like South Carolina couldn't do anything to stop them at all. And you're like, well, how did this happen in the first place? How did this even begin to occur? And it was like A&M flipped a switch. And so what that tells you is like, yeah, like should that hurt them in the rankings a little bit? Should you be less likely to want to vault them up above Indiana or Ohio State? Yeah. But does it also tell you that A&M can flip a switch, and if you put them in a game, then they can beat you that way? Then yeah, Marcelo Reed is awesome. Now, I mean, like those 3, if we're looking at A&M, Indiana, Ohio State, saying, okay, which one of those 3 is going to win? Which one of those 3 is going to roll in a playoff? All got good quarterbacks, man. You all got good quarterbacks, and that makes a huge difference. Like they can do some playmaking down the stretch. Obviously, what Mendoza did against Penn State was, legendary, and it's probably winning him the Heisman Trophy. And so, so like I am absolutely including Fernando Mendoza in this discussion. But Reed,
is there anybody that has a better receiving core than Indiana? Because I don't know that Indiana knew that it had such a good receiving core.
Probably didn't know Charlie Becker was that good.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
but not only are you seeing Charlie Becker, you're seeing the tight end. Daggone it, Norikowski. Is that his?
Something like that. He doesn't look like he should have as bullish of a name as he has. But
yeah, but all these guys now are having to participate, getting to participate because of not having Elijah Surratt. Boy, when you bring him back, that just makes your options more, makes you more dangerous. I think it's going to make Indiana a more difficult team to defend. But man, oh man, look at the talent Indiana has. People want to doubt Indiana. Look at the talent. You lose an All-American wide receiver. Hell, you bring a guy in that looks like he should be an All-American. He's made All-American catches. Wow. What a last few games for Charlie Becker, and it continued this past week. Fernando having what started out as a pedestrian day, but when he finished and it was all over, 299 yards, 92% completion rate, had 2 incompletions, 4 touchdown passes. That was just a work day for him. That was just normal. Now, here's the odd thing. I've mentioned this a few times. I firmly believe he's going to win the Heisman. But if he does, at this moment, he will be a Heisman winner that has thrown for 300 yards one time this Heisman winning season. That's some research I'm going to have to do, but I'd like to know when the last time that has happened, because that has to be back in the 70s or back when they weren't throwing the ball so much, man. I mean, I can't imagine that happening anytime soon, but it's not, it's part of the reason he doesn't have that many. He has plenty of passing yards, but that he hasn't gone over that as much. Indiana might be the most balanced team in the country. Their running game, they run the ball extraordinarily well, and they don't have to throw for 300 yards a game.
his efficiency is what stands out. And his touchdown passes, he sets the Indiana record, which was a whopping 1 year old after Curtis Rourke broke it last year and now Fernando owns it, and he will add to that most likely at Purdue with 30 touchdowns on the year right now. I think that leads the country in touchdown passes, but he's so efficient. That is what makes him different.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, just looking at his page, 73% completion percentage. He does have one 300-yard game against Michigan State. He threw for 332 and 4 scores, 24 of 28. Passing is ridiculous. Yeah, no, I mean, he's like 30-5 touchdown to interception rate is fantastic. Passing rate 184. Has 5 rushing touchdowns. I mean, it's super impressive resume. And also it makes a difference when you don't have to play some fourth quarters in there, there have been some blowouts, like Illinois and UCLA and probably, Maryland, like some of these games you don't have to play the fourth quarter because you're up so much. He's had a couple obviously where he's had to be excellent, between Iowa, Oregon, Penn State, where he's had to lead some big time drives and done some comebacking and whatnot. So he's done enough. But yeah, you look at the whole picture and it's fantastic. And it really is this like collection of offensive weapons that you think of when you think of national championship teams, and it's just like if you like I used to say this all the time, like when the 2020 team was good, it's like take the uniform, or just take the name off the uniform, and what do you think? Like look at this collection of dudes. Forget, what there's, how many, games their school has lost over the century or whatever. Like, just look at this collection of dudes. Can this collection of dudes win a national championship? Look at Kalen Black, look at Hemby, look at Surratt, look at Cooper, look at Mendoza, look at, Becker, like look at Aiden Fisher, look at all like these collections of guys. Like, would you think those dudes are, do you think you could take that group of guys and play anybody? Yeah, you can. Like it's Indiana. I get it. Like, and I get people like outside particularly wanting to be annoyed by it, like in terms of how everybody operates and how Cignetti talks and all that kind of thing. But like, just look at this collection of players. Like, it's a great collection of players. Like it's just a super talented collection of guys. And it's like they move, it's like it is one of those offenses that moves through opponents like butter. Like you're just like, they do whatever they want, and like you look back, that's what, I think back to like Miami 01-02, like they do whatever they want. Like, and you've seen teams play like the better teams that have played Indiana over the years. When you've seen bad Indiana teams, play, Ohio State with Terrell Pryor and stuff like that. When you're just like, these guys can do whatever they want. Like that's what it feels like with Indiana right now. And it's because those guys are that good. Like it's not like there's nothing magic about this. There's nothing accidental about this. They have a collection of really, really, really good players who just, some of them happen to start someplace else. That's it.
Oh yeah. There's so many things you could go down the NCAA statistics list right now. Offensively, Indiana leads the nation in third down conversion rate at 57%. But guess who's number two? Guess who's number two? Ohio State.
Yeah.
Right behind them. Defensively, Indiana, number 2 on stopping third down conversions at 26%. Ohio State, number 4, 27%. Right. So if you think these teams are not pretty evenly matched, completion percentage, of course, Julian's saying right now at number 1 at 80% exactly. Fernando Mendoza, Indiana at 73%. You know what? I know that the percentage is a big difference, but I don't know how much throwing difference there has been. Well, let's see. 295 passing attempts versus 303. Fernando throwing the ball a little bit more. I don't know how much Julian saying is going deep, what his per throw is, but it just shows these two teams are matched up, and this is going to be a hell of a game if and when it happens at the Big Ten Championship, Dustin.
Sure. No, it's going to be a fantastic game. Obviously, but what Ohio State has, I think Indiana has, as many, if not more offensive weapons. I mean, like Ohio State's best offensive player is better than Indiana's best offensive player. I mean, Jeremiah Smith is absolutely incredible. But I mean, I think Indiana.
Right. But as an aggregate, I think that Indiana is better in the aggregate.
I think Indiana's collection of weapons is better. But I think Ohio State's best offensive skill position guy is better. But Ohio State's defense is, I mean, Indiana's defense is excellent. Ohio State's defense is incredible. So I don't know. I mean, it is going to be a sensational football game. I mean, like you do hope for the, watching purposes of it that no one says, hey, we don't really need this game. Like that's you hope that it's like Ohio State v. Indiana 1, Ohio State v. Indiana 2, like that you get to see this game twice and it's good twice. Like I hope no one goes into it and realizes like, we can both get buys, like we don't have to lay it on the line here. So, cause it's probably true, like it probably doesn't matter what happens in that game, but it'd be an awesome football game, at least it can be. But they should both get top 4 seeds regardless of what happens.
I'm looking down defensively for interceptions. I think Indiana has 15 on the season.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5th. You will not find Ohio State on this list. I think that they have 5 interceptions on the season, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can. You got to get to the 3rd page to get to that. A few of interceptions. Number 5, let's see. They may have picked up one here recently because I don't see him in the 5 area. So maybe they picked up one. They must have 6 now. Mm-hmm. They've jumped up there. But anyway, that's a big difference in defenses. Indiana with 15 picks on the season, and Ohio State, I think that they may have like 6 because they had 5 the last time out. There they are. Yeah, they've got 6 on the season.
How many first downs have they allowed? Like that's probably another piece. Like no one's throwing any passes against them because they're getting off the field so fast. Like
another good point. There's always way to look at that turnover margin. Indiana number 2 in the country. Again, Indiana's at the top. They're in the top 5 of so many of these categories. So it's very hard to dismiss Indiana's defense and certainly their offense. It's 1.3 per game. They trail only North Texas, who just jumped into the rankings for the first time since the 50s or whatever that was.
It wasn't that long. Is that really?
It's been a minute. 70s. It's been a minute. Hot minute.
They've had some teams. They had some teams. It was the Seth Luttrell era wasn't bad for North Texas.
Didn't they used to be North Dallas? I'm kidding. North Dallas 40. But Dustin
Dopirak with inspiration for Unnecessary Roughness. The movie with Sinbad and what's his name? The guy from Quantum Leap.
Oh, the star of Quantum
Kathy
Leap.
Ireland. You've seen Unnecessary Roughness. I know you have.
Oh yeah, it's been a while though.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
But didn't they play at North Texas? Like, the jerseys were at least based on them.
I think so. Man, I thought I finally found a but I didn't yet. So I still just have the stupid.
There you go.
Yeah. Great. Speaking of which, hey, we got Greg Dustin Dopirak is with us, the Indy Stars beat writer for the Pacers. Let's see what they're doing when we come back.
They're 1-12. I gotta go. I gotta drive to Detroit.
Oh, yeah, we took you too long, but appreciate you being with us, buddy. Safe travels.
We'll do.
And
thank you, Jim.
We'll catch you on the next ride, buddy. Dustin Dopirak joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We've got lots more coming up. We'll take a break, and we're back with it right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. When it comes to apparel and promotions, FreeThink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. FreeThink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. FreeThink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what FreeThink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com.
Game in a row at the end of the year, and it showed, I thought, in the first half. We looked kind of tired and a little bit lethargic, but I do give Wisconsin credit for playing with a lot of energy. Went in at halftime. What's always worked for me in these situations, and worked today again, is instead of going in there and kind of rip-snorting at halftime, just telling everybody to take a deep breath, relax, have fun, go out there, play one play at a time. I thought we played a good second half. And we had a lot of great individual performances. It's our 11th win in a row, one more than last year, one more than this staff had the year prior to that. But it'd be great to enter an off week now and get the players some rest. The coaches too, really, the assistant coaches. I may need even adjust what I normally do. We don't do much on off weeks. Just stay sharp, but we need some rest. We got to get some guys back. Got a lot of guys out there playing that are banged up, and we got to get healed up as good as possible. Questions?
He's on your left.
There's Curt Cignetti talking to the media after the latest win by the Indiana Hoosiers as they knock off Wisconsin over the weekend, 31-7. Kind of a slow start, but they got it rolling. Fernando got it rolling as well. Let's hear what Fernando had to say.
How does that feel?
Are we live or going?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It feels great, but it's what a culmination of everything, all rushing success, passing success, and everything we've had this year. I mean, that's not a player stat. It's more of a team and passing stat. I mean, think about all the receivers that we've spread the ball out to. I mean, most recently Charlie, EJ, Coop, Elijah. I mean, all those guys are ballers, including the tight ends. 2 tight ends had touchdowns today. So, I mean, that's really like an offensive passing stat itself. And just so proud of those guys. And, still have a long season left. So, we got to keep on going.
Fernando, do you even allow yourself to think about the Heisman?
At this point, not really, just because the most important thing for myself is winning the next game against Purdue, which is super important to everybody here in the state of Indiana and all of Hoosier Nation. So that's my number one goal. And then it's win the next game after that, and the next game after that. And then if these, awards end up happening, then great, it's all good. But my goal is to win and go as far as we can, whether it's the college football playoff, whether it's a national championship, whatever it is. That's my goal, is to win games here.
Curt said you guys were lethargic in the first half. Felt that you needed to kind of deliver a message just to take a breath at halftime. How important is that? And would you kind of see the difference was in the second half?
Yeah, Coach Cignetti is a fantastic coach, and he understands his players and his team, and he knows that we were lethargic, and we weren't playing our Indiana brand of football, especially offensively. So he took us into halftime, told us to take a deep breath, to have fun, play football, and then in the second half, I think that we saw that we could have fun and play football well.
Fernando, what was it like seeing your brother get a few throws in today?
Oh, it was fantastic. I believe he was 1 of 1. He also had a great rushing first down, and seeing him go on there, and also seeing just not only in the game, but people don't get to see the success in practice. And being honest, him basically outperforming me in all these practices. It's great to see his development and to see how far he's come and to see what a great quarterback he's going to be for Indiana.
How about the way Charlie Becker has stepped up the last 2 games? Really huge.
Yeah. Charlie Becker, I mean, I call him Chuck, but Chuck has been fantastic. He's Alberto's and I's roommate, along with some other guys, but we've seen the work that Chuck's put through catching balls for us at 7 a.m. on random Sunday summer mornings, on random Sundays, spring mornings, and just his work ethic and what it's all accumulated to is so special to see that he's making huge plays on the field, getting a lot of targets, getting a lot of catches, and really contributed to our already elite receiving corps.
Beyond this game, second half dominance has been like a trend for this team this season. Yeah. What do you attribute that to?
I would attribute it to the brotherhood. I think our superpowers in offense is that we play for each other. We don't play for stats. We don't play for, the reason we play is to play together and to win. There's no other ulterior motive that we have as an offense. So when you have that, our offense is always able to come together and get gritty and rely on each other in critical moments, and we're always able to thrive in those moments.
So there's coming out of half here, second.
Like 10 possessions, and I think 8 of them were 11.
That was Fernando Mendoza, and as you can tell, he is so adept at talking with the media and gives great answers every time, but very sure of himself and speaks very clearly. He's going to be a team's quarterback dream when they get him in the NFL and put him before the cameras. He's going to be able to sell the organization, sell the team. His confidence. He's going to be able to be a great leader. You can just see those leadership qualities that he has. Now, on the other side of things, you've got Aiden Fischer, the quarterback of Indiana's defense. Let's hear what Aiden had to say after Indiana's win over Wisconsin this weekend.
Why do you feel you guys were just dominant for pretty much the whole game?
First of all, I think we started out really slow. We were very messy. A lot of our angles and things that we were doing, it was just bad defense in that first half. Second half, we did a good job matching personnel. Kind of lit a fire after the first half. Kind of tried to trash everything we did in the first half. Get going in the second, but I think we did a way better job with meeting physicality with physicality. Doing a great job of tackling. I think we did a lot of things. We didn't create an edge on a lot of plays that sprung out on us. So I think we just cleaned up a lot of little things in the details, and it ultimately helped us in that second half.
When you say you're kind of like trash and things, like significant schematic changes at halftime, or take us through like what that means?
No, we just came out flat, honestly. We didn't have a lot of energy. Some guys just weren't ready to go, and I'll take the blame for that. I don't think I was ready to go. I think I could have had more energy and been a little bit more of a spark plug for the team. But it's something you got to work on. You can't have that in big games, so we got to eliminate that now. Get back to trending upward towards the end of the season. So looking forward to Purdue and kind of righting that wrong.
How's your mindset as a team? You think change from 0 to 0 to 11 to 0 in terms of what's possible?
No, the goal's been the same ever since we got here in January. All the new guys, all the returners. We're not satisfied with just what it is right now. We want more. We want a Big Ten championship. We want a national championship. We have goals that we've set out, but it's all about taking it game by game. Now all the focus is on Purdue. Everything that comes after that will come after that, but all focus on Purdue right now.
You told us on Tuesday that you're an emotional guy. You ran off the field, a lot of cheers. You threw a towel to a kid. What was that? What were the emotions around that, leaving the field?
It's just been great being here. I really love this place. I've never really been, a place over people type of person, but this place is special, and I think it is the people that make it. So just jogging off and, hearing, some of the things they were saying and, chants and whatnot, just kind of makes you appreciate it. And I don't think I really do that enough in my life where I just kind of stop for a second and appreciate things. It's always, when you're with Coach Cignetti, it's go, 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 we're on the next thing. So I did take a moment there, just kind of appreciate everybody and their support. And I think that's the longest I've ever spent in the stands after a game, just signing everything, taking pictures, just knowing it's probably my last home game here. Just extremely grateful for everybody at Indiana and how special it's been so far.
There was Aiden Fischer, your All-American linebacker for Indiana, is talking about playing the last game, the game itself, how they weren't quite ready, which surprising to hear for their last home game, the game which it's going to give them back-to-back undefeated seasons. But you know what? If it's going to happen, you want it to happen now. They're tired. They're beat up. I get it. They played all these games in a row, these tough games, and now they get through that one. They get a break. They get a rest. Then you got to get back up twice. I know Purdue, it's hard to get up for a team that's not playing well because, let's be real, while it is a rivalry game for every fan out there that has grown up with Indiana football, grown up with Indiana, period. You have this animosity, sports animosity towards Purdue, which you should as a rival. None of these guys are from Indiana. Most of these guys have not been at Indiana that long, a couple of years maybe, 2. Most of these guys have been at Indiana for 2 years, to be serious. You're told, hey, this is a rival game. So I don't know. It's hard to manufacture that. I'll be honest with you. If like I've talked about growing up, I grew up just innately not liking Kentucky. Part of it's because you don't dislike teams that are not successful, first of all. It's hard to just manufacture that. And so, especially, and when you have no relationship, these guys have got to get to almost manufacture that rivalry status type of thing. But the biggest, and think about this, you have to get yourself up for this rivalry game that has never been a rivalry to you prior to 2 years ago, or even maybe a year ago, who knows? But then the week after that, you've got a game that it doesn't need to be a rivalry game. It already is, because it's Ohio. It's probably, most likely, going to be Ohio State. Either way, it's the Big Ten championship. You're playing for the biggest prize in college football this season from a conference standpoint. This is the best conference in the country as far as the top, as far as the teams that are most likely to win a national championship. They've got 3 of those. I think that they have the 2. Well, people may disagree with putting Indiana in that category. I don't care. They're definitely one of the teams that there are only about 5 teams that I truly believe can win the national championship this year. Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, and that might be it. I don't know. I don't want to discount Alabama. They got beat at home, and I hate to discount them because they're a good, very good football team. People, they've got great players. They've got great coaches. That was Kalen DeBoer's first loss. That's whose home streak was snapped. I was trying to think of. Alabama had won 17 straight. Indiana is now at 14 straight? They're up near the top of that. Either way, hey, we've got to take our last break. Appreciate you being with us. Lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Back with it right after this.
Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing, or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition, or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Monday. Glad to have you along. I was talking about the home winning streaks after Indiana ended Oregon's earlier this season, and Alabama had their 17-game home winning streak ended by Oklahoma over the weekend. Guess what? After some quick research, Indiana now has the nation's longest home winning streak in FBS football at 15 games. And guess what? That streak will remain intact through next season. They're done playing at home. And they'll probably have to pull the schedule up. Pretty sure they're going to open up with 3 non-con games, 15, 16, 17, 18. They'd have that thing up to 18 games. Pretty good. That's pretty good company, considering Alabama was leading the nation. Had theirs ended at 17. Indiana should eclipse that next season. We will find out. But how long could it go? Curt Cignetti has yet to lose, at home. So, man, that could go for a while. In 2026. Let's check out that schedule for Indiana. They'll open up with North Texas, who ranked right now. So if you want to talk about Indiana's weak non-con schedule, they open up with a team that's ranked and will potentially make the CFP as one of the group of 5 teams. So, yeah, weak my buttocks. They're going to be tested in game 1 at home next year. Then they'll play the Howard Bison, which will be interesting. Mascot fight, Bison on Bison. Then the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers will come in with their throwing game. Then Indiana has a home games. Man, are you kidding me? I hope that this is not in the correct order. Right, it's not. All right, so this is not in the correct order. I don't know why. Maybe they have not set the dates yet next year, but we do know that those first 3 games will be. So Indiana could end up with at least an 18-game home winning streak before they start play. But, man, North Texas, there you go. So there's Indiana's. They may not be a P4 team, but they're better than a lot of P4 teams. So there's not going to be a lot of grief about Indiana's schedule next year, because besides that, they have Minnesota, Northwestern, who is solid. They play Ohio State at home. You've got Purdue. USC comes to Memorial Stadium. They have to travel to Ann Arbor. holy smokes, have to travel to Nebraska, to Piscataway, and to Washington. Indiana's schedule next year is going to be insane. Insane. We're talking tough. Man. Well, it's been a great day today, and I cannot thank everyone enough. Man, as always, big thanks to Don Fischer, Greg Rakestraw, and Dustin Dopirak for coming on the program, as always, on this Monday. Big thanks to each and every one of you. We're back tomorrow to do it again. I'll head out to Darian DeVries' press conference. We'll have all that for you tomorrow as well. But until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.